The big thing is there is still no jury. They're so concerned about jurors backing out over the weekend once they find out that they're actually on the jury, that they're going to bring 43 of them back on Monday morning. They're going to strike them and then go right into opening statements. Part of that is because they received an email.
Expected to be one of the most high-profile trials in a very, very long time. The United States of America versus Sean Diddy Combs, one of the biggest names in entertainment.
Prosecutors say the evidence is damning.
He's accused of forcing at least 3 women to engage in sex with him and at times with male during parties known as freak-offs.
The freak-offs, there will be footage of that played in court as well.
Sean Combs' legacy, just like his liberty, his fortune, and his future, that all
Danny's empire isn't just shaking. It's slowly unraveling in full view. Once hailed as the king of hip-hop, he's now cornered by mounting headlines that chip away at his previously untouchable legacy. This isn't gossip, it's a high-stakes legal drama unfolding under the intense scrutiny of the courtroom. The carefully crafted image is beginning to show real cracks as more voices step forward, shedding light on long-hidden truths. What's happening goes beyond the fall of a single star. It's the exposure of a once mighty empire now being held accountable in the public eye. The courtroom feels more like a red carpet event as attention turns to the trial of Diddy, a place where celebrity and justice collide. But this story isn't just about one person. It's about the powerful network around him, now facing scrutiny. Even jury selection has taken on a dramatic flair, with names like Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, Robert Downey Jr., and Dallas Austin surfacing as potential biases are explored. Why? Because Diddy's power was built on access to influence, to privilege, and to silence. And now that silence is being broken. Next voice. Let's be real, no name seems too big to be mentioned now. Michael B. Jordan has surfaced in rumors surrounding alleged tensions over his association with Cassie. Kid Cudi. Questions are swirling after his car incident, which came shortly after reports of strained interactions. Don Richard has stepped forward, sharing troubling experiences and claims of financial misconduct. Even in the jury box, there's a quiet intensity, each person seemingly trying to make sense of a tangled web that all appears to trace back to one central figure, Diddy. As for the music mogul himself, the commanding presence once associated with his name has noticeably faded. Gone are the lavish outfits and high-profile entrances. Now, he arrives in court with minimal fanfare, no entourage, just a relative by his side in a faded t-shirt and a demeanor that feels more pressured than powerful. This isn't just a personal reckoning. It feels like the slow, public disintegration of an entire legacy. The empire once built on style, status, and silence is now under the microscope and unraveling in plain sight.
But those connections and Diddy's impact not only are not fading away, they are under the spotlight like never before, in the last place you might expect. Jury selection. Like, it's never exciting, jury selection. Oh, it's boring. You wait till the panel's picked and then the good stuff starts. No, not in this case. Jury selection's been amazing. The candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities, and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. When a prospective juror said that he knew a Robert Downey in high school, it was kind of funny. But Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other and have been seen together in public. But Robert Downey Jr. reportedly never attended Diddy's parties. So if he does figure into this trial somehow, it's going to be a lot of news to a lot of us. Mike Myers, another favorite Canadian, favorite actor, favorite comedian. He is on the jury question list as well. And that too is a tongue-wagging mystery. Unless it's about the quick jab at Diddy that he took in the Austin Powers movie? I don't know. Doesn't seem likely. Rolling Stone magazine reports that actor Michael B. Jordan made the list because Diddy once threatened him for dating Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Same goes for the rapper Kid Cudi. USA Today says that Cassie's lawsuit claimed that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Music producer Dallas Austin may have made the list for his ties to the late Kim Porter, who was mom to 4 of Diddy's kiddies. And singer Dawn Richard from the girl group Danity Kane, she is likely on the famous people list because she's one of Diddy's many accusers. Not in his criminal case, but she sued him civilly last year, claiming that she saw him abuse Cassie, his girlfriend, and that she herself was deprived of food and cheated out of money that she was owed.
It feels almost surreal. A billionaire who once stood as a cultural icon, now caught in a cycle of silent courtroom stares and recycled outfits, trying to maintain composure as his empire unravels, piece by piece. Each connection, each allegation, slowly dismantles the legend he built. While his team works overtime to control the narrative, the prosecution's message cuts through with clarity. Celebrity no longer guarantees protection. No name is too big, and no legacy is beyond accountability.
The same clothes, he's wearing the same outfit. Do we expect that this is a ploy? Is this a mistake that lawyers forgot to bring him a fresh change? What was going on there?
Same outfit really surprised me too. I expected maybe a version of that outfit, but not the same exact one. It is a little dressed down for court, so I don't know if maybe we're going to see a suited Diddy when it comes time for the trial to actually begin come Monday. But there aren't any cameras in the courtroom. There's no cameras, there's no still cameras, there's no photography, there's no video cameras, and he doesn't walk in and out, so we don't really see him. So maybe that had something to do with it. He's not kind of performing for anyone in there, but is he though? His cousin was in there again, the one that walks in wearing the Free Puffy shirt, and they seem to kind of nod and non-verbally communicate with each other in court today, Ash, when he was going in and out, and every time he could turn around to the gallery, they seemed like they had some sort of understanding.
The most unsettling part isn't the celebrities or courtroom drama. It's what's coming next. Allegations about strict party rules, mandatory dress codes, stilettos, and body checks suggest a deeper pattern of control. And that may just be the beginning. The courtroom is charged. Attorney Lisa Bloom is watching closely, representing a key government witness whose identity is so sensitive, even the judge has sealed it. This isn't just a trial. It's the calm before a potentially massive storm.
Plea deal in this case, which he rejected. Not really a surprise that when one was put on the table, he said no. He has vehemently maintained his innocence this entire time. I could not see a world where he would accept any kind of plea deal.
But the judge isn't playing along. Diddy's legal team requested more time after new charges emerged, denied. No delays, no sympathy. With 4 major law firms backing him, the court isn't buying the not ready argument. This trial isn't slowing down, it's accelerating.
Lisa Bloom has been in Sean Combs' courtroom as an observer, but a very, very interested observer, because Lisa Bloom represents a government witness who she says is likely to take the stand. She also represents 2 of Diddy's civil accusers, including that famous one I just talked about, Dawn Richard. I spoke with Lisa Bloom earlier today about what she can tell me about this trial, since she's an insider. I was so curious about you, first because I adore you, but secondly because you're very involved and engaged in this process. You have 2 clients who are civil accusers against P. Diddy, and you have 1 client who is a witness in this criminal case. So clearly I'm going to push you as far as I can. Who is the witness? Are you able to tell me anything about your client who's the witness?
Unfortunately, I'm not. That name is still confidential. I was hoping that during the jury selection process, the judge would be reading a list of witnesses and then the press would hear it. But that has not happened yet, so I'm trying to be mindful and respect the rules, and so I can't disclose that right now.
Then came another shock. Excerpts from a victim's memoir, unseen documentary footage, and expert testimony on trauma are all being admitted as evidence. The defense fought back, pushing for access to personal diaries and financial records to challenge the accusers, but the judge refused. Instead, 3 alleged victims will testify anonymously, shielded from public view but prepared to speak. The prosecution's strategy is clear: protect the witnesses, present consistent evidence, and keep Diddy off balance. Every denied delay and new revelation signals that the court is focused on facts, not fame. Meanwhile, the defense is striking back, calling a key witness dishonest, suggesting ulterior motives, and even threatening to expose secrets from within Diddy's own circle. The case is reaching a boiling point. What was once seen as chaos is now being portrayed as something far more calculated: controlled environments, rigid expectations, and carefully managed access. The pressure is mounting, and no one knows who's next.
A federal judge has denied Sean Diddy Combs' efforts to delay the start of his upcoming trafficking trial. The music mogul appeared in court today. His legal team wanted to push the trial start date by 2 months, saying they needed more time to prepare because of new charges filed earlier this month. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all federal counts, including racketeering, trafficking, and transportation to engage in. His trial is set to begin May 5th. Let's bring in CBS News legal reporter Katrina Coppin, who is outside the courthouse. Katrina, why did the judge deny Combs' bid to delay the trial, and what else happened in court?
Lindsay, great to join you. The judge denied this immediately when we got into court today. What he said to Combs' attorneys is, for one, this request came very last minute. This trial is supposed to start in weeks. We're supposed to begin jury selection soon, and that he thinks that they have sufficient time to prepare. He even made the point, Lindsay, that it's unclear to him why Combs can't prepare when he has 4 different law firms working on his case. A few other things that the judge said today is he's going to allow in drafts of a memoir that was written by one of the victims. However, the defense had also wanted her diaries and bank statements. The judge is not going to allow that. He's also going to allow in outtakes from a documentary called The Fall of Diddy of potential witnesses in this case. And then a lot of today's discussion today, Lindsay, was about victim anonymity. There are 3 alleged victims who the government wants to testify, and they want them to testify under pseudonyms. The defense has agreed about one of them, known as victim number 2, but the 2 others, they want their names revealed in court. So the judge has now said that those 3 victims will testify anonymously. The other thing that they discussed for quite a while was expert testimony. There are experts that the government and defense want to bring in to speak to what can happen when a victim has allegedly been abused. And the judge thought the key point was that you can't infer just because someone stayed in a relationship or didn't talk about abuse sooner.
According to federal investigators, these so-called gatherings were far from spontaneous parties. They were tightly controlled, meticulously planned, and deeply disturbing. Diddy is alleged to have directed every detail, including orchestrated scenes and, in some cases, secretly recording without consent. Victims were reportedly given unidentified substances with IV fluids allegedly administered afterward to keep them conscious. The most alarming accusation: these recordings weren't simply stored. They were allegedly used as tools of intimidation, meant to silence anyone who considered coming forward. Investigators described the entire operation not as entertainment, but as a system built on fear, manipulation, and control.
Diddy Freakoffs has physical requirements for all women taking part, and the list is now public.
A list, a requirement list for what you have to wear, or better put, not wear. Forget the grand jury that's meeting about new charges. I've got to deal with this list. No short hair, no flab, no cellulite, must wear stilettos, must be young and hot, must wear low-cut shirt with or dress with cleavage showing. Their words, not mine. Dressed to be very short, just enough.
When law enforcement raided Diddy's properties, what they found raised serious alarm. Over 1,000 bottles of oils, various controlled substances, and a cache of AR-15 rifles with defaced serial numbers and high-capacity drum magazines. This wasn't just excessive. It pointed to something potentially far more troubling. The discovery sparked immediate backlash, with critics now questioning not only Diddy's actions, but the broader industry that may have enabled his behavior for years. And this may only be the beginning. A new wave of lawsuits is emerging, pulling additional high-profile figures into the public eye. Most recently, another lawsuit was filed, this time by a male accuser who claims he was assaulted and left permanently injured in what's described as a targeted act of retaliation. It may sound like a dramatic script, but prosecutors insist the evidence is very real.
And it's coming at a really awkward time for Sean Puffy Combs, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Love. It's of Sean Combs reportedly, apparently, asking a 12-year-old little girl to party at an after party. Watch.
Coming to an after party tonight?
Joseph Manzaro, a Florida resident, alleges that in 2015, Diddy invited him to a Miami party under misleading circumstances. According to the lawsuit, Manzaro was trapped inside when his door handle was sabotaged, then taken to a mansion on Star Island. The most startling claim: Manzaro says he was publicly humiliated in front of high-profile guests such as Jay-Z, Beyonce, and LeBron James, who were reportedly witnesses to the incident. Manzaro describes the experience as part of a deliberate intimidation tactic, with Diddy's team allegedly warning him, "This is what we do to those who speak out." The allegations have sparked widespread discussion online, raising questions about how many others might have faced similar situations. The lawsuit initially named Beyonce and Jay-Z as eyewitnesses to the incident, a claim that has intensified public attention on the case.
Were elaborate and produced performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. Now, they also listed a couple of items that were used during these freak-offs, at least according to the feds. They said that there were controlled substances used, and this was specifically to allegedly keep the victims obedient and compliant. The feds also state that during these freak-off situations, recording devices were used. Now, sometimes the people involved in the freak-offs, allegedly, didn't know that they were being recorded. And then other times, Diddy and his team, allegedly, would use these recordings as revenge porn and say, hey, if you come forward and report this to anyone, we've got this really embarrassing video. Why would you do that? So that's an allegation too. The feds also say that IV fluids were used in all of this, specifically because the people involved in the freak-offs had to recover from physical exertion and drug use. Now, according to the indictment, Diddy's employees facilitated these freak-offs, and according to the feds, here's what they had to do: book the hotel rooms, coordinate transportation, which, by the way, includes some of that crossing state line situation because allegedly some of these people were workers. These employees of Diddy were also required to provide this baby oil and lube, extra linens at the hotel room or wherever they were, lighting, which I thought was interesting to note that they had to provide the lighting, controlled substances, as we've talked about, cash to pay the workers, IV fluids, which we've also talked about, and they were then required to clean up the hotel room after. Now, according to the indictment, in or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including